So we're concentrating on this because we did a survey in February of this year, and about 774 people filled that out, and they said that they want more multi-use bike paths. That's the number one, it's 16%. More physically protected bike lanes, 15%. More 5-foot bike lanes, just painted, 12%, and so on. So in total, people want more bikeways in general, 51%. And we asked, on what streets do you want to see physically protected bikeways? And Waikiki tuned from downtown, Waimanalo tuned from Hawaii, downtown tuned from the airport. Those are the top three. And then finished the Leeward bike path. And so connecting the lay of parks, this is from the 1999 Honolulu Bike Master Plan. And you can see the dots, the darker dots are existing links. And it's a little bit outdated, but not too much actually. And the connecting links are the red dots. But it's not a lay if the parks are not connected. So we need to make those connections. And this is another map from the Bike Master Plan, and it shows 50 miles and 24 different segments of parks. And the purple is the priority 1, and the blue is priority 2. And in the past 115 years, there have been over 20 different plans that mention the importance of the park system. And many of these state the need for safe connections between them. And this is the first one. In 1906, Charles Mulford Robertson cited the need for connections between the parks in his plan, The Beautifying of Honolulu. And he wrote, the boulevards and drives should do more than adequately connect the parks. Whatever development is given to Honolulu and to its surrounding country should be first of all for the comfort and enjoyment of its citizens. For a town is not like a picture, simply to be looked at and admired. It is to be lived in and loved. I really like that quote. And this is the timeline for the lay of parks. So 32 years later, Lewis Mumford, down here on the bottom, he recognized the need for green belts and a chain of parks that should be accessible via the waterfront. And this is some logos from those plans. This is a map from the Honolulu Waterfront Master Plan 1989, showing the lay of green concept and the need for the connections with the arrows. And this is the pedestrian network concept from the Primary Urban Center Development Plan from 2004. Pearl Harbor is on the left and Honolulu is on the right. And the same thing, looking for a good pedestrian network between the parks. And this is the map from the Waikiki Regional Circulation Study in 2013. And they identified the gaps in the network, which are the light blue. And so that's crossing Monstrat here, Kapahulu here, over the canal, and Kalakaua and Ala Moana. So I've been walking and biking this section, and it seems like the Monstrat connection doesn't need a lot of improvement. So we're looking at the Kapahulu, and this is what it looks like looking towards the Diamond Head. And as you can see, the only bike infrastructure here is this one little sharrow. And they expect the cyclists to cross over 3 lanes to get in the left turn lane and turn over here to the park. So I'm at Ala Wai and Kapahulu, and the pathway leads to nothing for cyclists to get over to the other park. Most cyclists bike on the sidewalk, but the sidewalk is really narrow. And there's a turn lane here, so if you're biking, it's dangerous. And then go into this lane and somehow get in the left-hand lane there to turn left, where that guy is. So all we need to do is make a multi-use path right here. It looks like there's enough room to widen that. We're requesting the whole path to be repaved. And this is pretty dangerous, especially at night and in the shadows. And the next section is here in the Ala Wai Community Park. Especially if you don't know where you're going and if you're a tourist, you come to the end of the path here and you don't know where to go. So we're asking for more wayfinding, and also, if possible, make the pathway across here and then put the crossing over Macaulay Street, having a crosswalk, raised crosswalk with flashing lights or a signal. So now we're on to the urban core route, starting at the Ala Wai Promenade and Kalakaua. And here, people have been talking about putting a crosswalk or signal here for a long time. But they've done studies, and apparently the studies found that it would cause too much traffic delay. But we think that if we have enough support and we talk about the benefits, then we can potentially get this done. Because this would be a major improvement to connect the promenade. Along the pathway, there are some areas where the bricks are missing, proving that. And then here, once you get from the promenade onto Ala Moana, it leaves you on the sidewalk, and the city expects you to bike on the sidewalk here, but a lot of times pedestrians don't like that. They don't know you're allowed to be on the sidewalk. They get mad at you. They try and block your way sometimes. And maybe, especially tourists, they probably don't know. And maybe where they're from, it's not allowed to bike on the sidewalk. And so having a multi-use path on the sidewalk along the whole length of Ala Moana would be great, and widening where necessary. And then the path would continue into Ala Moana Park for a certain section. And this is an example in Austin where they converted a sidewalk into a multi-use path. And then continuing on this intersection, so once the pedestrians cross, they have to wait for the cars turning. And I'm going to show you their section. Green, crossing Ala Moana. Now it's stopping. Now the cars are crossing onto Ala Moana Park, and now the cross traffic is stopped and people are crossing. Once they get to the other side, it should turn green for them to cross Ala Moana, but instead I have to wait a long time after the signal. Yeah, so now the cars are turning left, and we should allow the pedestrians to continue across first before the cars turn left. So yeah, change the signal timing so pedestrians and cyclists don't have to wait for the turning traffic before crossing Ala Moana. And that would be great for a lot of the signals here. And then onto Ala Moana Park Drive. When you cross Ala Moana into the park, it's pretty dangerous to bike here. The cars actually go pretty fast, and there's not enough room on the sidewalk. So we're requesting bike lanes. And they said that there is enough room for at least one side. Not sure about the other side. And then here, at the end of Ala Moana Park into Kiwalo Basin, we'd like to see the path widened right there to the end, and then have a pathway across. And this is the narrow pathway. Then here, in the downtown area, we'd like to see, well, we're not sure about this now, but after talking with the city, Queen Street is very difficult. There's a lot of jurisdictional issues. Even though we think it's the best way, because you only have to make 3 different turns. And that's important because the less turns, the better for cyclists. You're less likely to get into crashes. 58% of bike auto crashes occur at intersections. And it saves time, since at each intersection the cyclist may need to wait for cross traffic. And the current route that the city is working on, there are 5 different turns. This is dangerous for cyclists because they have to go from the bike lane across fast traffic to get to the other bike lane. And you don't really know where you're going. You can't really see the bike lane on the other side. So we're looking for wayfinding signs, signal for bikes, green striping across the conflict zone, bike box, and a protected bike lane on Nimitz would be great. There are known flooding issues in this area, so adding bike infrastructure and wayfinding along this route would be good. Improving safety of intersections and keeping the Nimitz bike path maintained, and adding signage to indicate the start of the Nimitz bike path. And then on the way back, it's basically the same, except going down through this area past Aloha Tower, and adding more wayfinding through here would be good too.